Hello and welcome to Masters Bike Mods. This is part 8 of the lockdown bike project. We've been pretty busy. I'm pleased to report there has been some success. There's been a little bit of failure as well, but that's all part of the course for Masters Bike Mods. So if you come into the shed, we'll have a look at what's been happening. Okay, so you probably recall this part that I modified on the last episode. It was the cable stop clamp. So I took this out for a test ride, and unfortunately it didn't work. The reason it didn't work was two reasons basically. First reason, although I'd attempted to get the holes as far apart as possible, they're still not as wide as the recesses in the lever, so there was still a little bit of side load in the cable. The other reason is that the actual clamping pressure had been compromised because this is no longer round. As you remember, I had to modify it to make it fit. So the reduced clamp pressure meant that when I operated one of the levers, it actually rotated it round and then affected the other lever. So to be honest, it was absolutely terrible. So I had to get my thinking head on, and I came up with an alternative, and basically it's made out of a spacer which goes around the stem. So I had a spare one of these, and as you know from previous episodes, I got the aluminium angle in the shed, so I was basically able to make the integrated stem spacer cable stop. So pretty pleased with that. I won't lie to you, it was quite a lot of effort, quite a bit of work went into it. I'll give you a brief rundown of the stages of making it. So stage one was basically cutting out some angle and then forming it to form this round part here. And basically what I did for that is use a different spacer which has got quite a bit of thickness to it but the same outside diameter. Use that as a forming tool. Basically cut a slot out of here to make it less stiff. Over there, bit of work with a hammer, and then drill one hole through, put the screw in, and then once one screw's in, you can kind of form it round further, put the other screw in, and then what I had to do is basically just modify the inside of that to allow the screw heads to fit in there. Don't know if you can see that. So that it actually goes around the stem nicely. Next stage was basically building up the material to allow me to actually drill the holes into that are going to house the ends of the cable. So that was the same trick I used as before, basically lots of little pieces of plate, a couple of holes in there drilled through, and then laminate the plate with some epoxy resin. So that was stage two, and then stage three, which was the most accurate bit in a way, was to get these cable stop holes in there, so that they're positioned exactly the same distance as the distance between the lever cable grooves. So that was a little bit of fairly accurate drilling there, but all done with the vise, with the saw, with the electric drill. I've got decent drill bits, I've got all sorts of files, so that's the type of thing you need. You can't do it with poor tools. It's just going to cause you a lot of grief. So that's that. I can report that it was test ridden on Sunday, and total success, so really pleased with it. I hadn't painted it on Sunday, so I actually painted it yesterday, left it overnight because I thought if it doesn't work, what's the point in painting it. But yeah, it works, it's great. So basically slips over here like that. And then got the, you can see the cables go into there. And then I'll just do that all the way so I can still spin it round. So basically you've got one end in there, like that, other end in there. Okay, and that's basically how it looks. Just a little bit of alignment there before I tighten the whole thing up. And yeah, it's pretty good. I've got my adjusters there for the cable, outer cable adjustment, just to fine tune the indexing, but the indexing is working really well. One thing I should say, which was a very important mod, I'll just show you this quickly. What I'll try and do is just turn that around there like that so you can see what I'm doing. I'll just take this lever off. Okay, so one other mod that I made was on the stem itself, and you probably recall that I got these parts made by my brother. So I've basically filed in a groove into the stem. I don't know if you can see that, you might need to come a little bit closer to see that, which creates a recess for this part to sit into. Without that, this part will just spin round. Even though I Loctited the screw in there, there's quite a lot of force on the levers when you turn them, so that basically has made everything really solid. The indexing is absolutely superb, so jobs are good. So all that's needed now really is to re-index it. Now I've painted it up, and then yeah, oh, put the bar tape on. So we've got the this bar tape here, so bar tape will go on, and we'll be fully up and running. So next episode I'll have probably ridden about on the bike, given it a proper test ride, and provide a bit of feedback. Now the production team here at Masters Bike Mods has come up with a great idea of naming the bike. So if you want to provide any comments for names of the bike, then in the next update we'll basically let you know what our favourite name is, and we'll make a sticker to put somewhere on the bike with the bike name. So yeah, hopefully see you in the next episode.